very warm welcome to all the cricket fans of Sri Lanka. Indeed, a bit of a disappointing end that Sri Lanka as a team, Sri Lanka as a nation, had to acknowledge at the end of their journey in the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019.
Yep, of course things didn't go well for us during the World Cup 2019, but however, we were able to make it 3-0 in the recently concluded Bangladesh tour. And also don't forget the fact that there are quite a bit of positives to be taken out from this World Cup 2019.
Of course, and you're tuning in to ACBU Online and joining us with this cricket episode, the special cricket countdown cover drive, where we'll be covering and having discussions on each and every tour that Sri Lankan cricket team is gonna appear.
Yeah, so we've got quite a lot for you, but before we move on, let's take a quick glance at what's on the line for the show.
Fabulous journey of a legendary career. Where we went wrong. Positives to be extracted. Lions versus Black Caps.
So, to give it a start, any team, regardless of the country, would look back at an analysis as to see where they went wrong with the bat, with the ball, or rather in the field.
Yeah, I think that's a very important topic to be discussed, and an equally important topic, and an equally important question rather, to be raised by the team members themselves before moving on to the next tour. So, all in all, where we went wrong, here's an outlook on that.
Sri Lanka had their moments in the World Cup 2019, but hardly threatened to scamper into the Final Four and make it to the semi-final. Their best moment of the tournament came when they took down the world number 1 and the host England in a low-scoring game. They sneaked through to a win against Afghanistan out of nowhere and held nervous against a Windies fight back in the latter part. They did come up with a chance against Australia, but a middle order collapse led them falling short. While talking about the problems of Sri Lanka, the middle order collapse is quite significant. We were in a strong position in the match against Australia, in which we were chasing a target of 335. At one stage we were 153 for 1, which put the Aussie bowlers under tremendous pressure. But unluckily, we couldn't hold it up for a longer period as we continued to lose wickets at regular intervals. The match against Afghanistan was even frustrating. Although we were able to pull off a victory thanks to some fine bowling performances, it was a match to forget for our middle order. There, Sri Lanka was at 144 runs for the loss of just 2 wickets, but quite surprisingly lost their next 6 wickets for just 36 runs, which can be considered as the biggest collapse in the World Cup history. So it is no doubt that this rather poor performance in the middle order was a crucial factor in Sri Lanka's failure in their World Cup journey. Another key factor where we went wrong would be the run rate. Well, Sri Lanka showed the third highest run rate out of all the teams in the first 10 overs. But sadly, our run rate dropped drastically during the overs of 10 to 40, which really affected our final score. This was mainly due to the absence of a player in the middle order who could have taken bulk in empowering the innings by maintaining a proper scoring rate. During the early stages of the World Cup, it was matches with lower totals, but later on, teams were able to score mammoth totals which we didn't see from Sri Lanka.
Yes, so there were some of the common mistakes and errors that we found in general regarding our performances in the World Cup 2019. And now let me shift to another important topic. And I think it's very indisputable that out of the 3 ODIs we played against Bangladesh, the first one was really the top of the town.
Not only that, throughout the World Cup and soon after the World Cup, Lasith Malinga, when he posted a video on his wife's Facebook page saying that he'll be retiring from the one-day international cricket after the very first one-day international, which was about to be played in Bangladesh in R. Premadasa Stadium.
Yes, that was a farewell game to the great legend Lasith Malinga, who has been serving Sri Lanka cricket for more than 15 years now. And I can still remember how well he performed in the 2011 ODI final. Well, we were not able to win the game and lift the title true enough, but however, he performed truly and wonderfully well in that power play.
Of course, Sugit, he has been a prodigious servant for Sri Lankan cricket over 15 years. And this documentary will be an outlook about this king of Yorkers, Lasith Malinga.
Lasith Malinga is a prodigious fast bowler, born on the 28th of August in 1983 in Goa. One of the most prolific bowlers in the shorter formats of the game, Malinga is known for his deadly Yorkers and unique sling arm action, which also gave him his nickname Slinger Malinga.
He is known to take multiple and consecutive wickets in a match and is feared for his accuracy and consistency. Malinga's youth was spent playing cricket on the beaches of Rathgama, just north of Galle. He completed his secondary education in Vidyaloka College, where he also started his cricketing career. Discovered by former Sri Lankan pace bowler Champaka Ramanayaka, Malinga was selected for the Galle Cricket Club. Champaka also helped him to get into the first 11 of Mahinda College, which proved to be a huge turning point in Malinga's career of cricket. Malinga made his Test debut against Australia in early July 2004. He took 2 wickets in 14 overs, giving away 50 runs in the first innings. More wickets came in the second innings as he toppled 4 for 42 in his 15-over spell. Same month, Malinga made his ODI debut against UAE with just 1 wicket in 10 overs. However, he made a rather quiet T20 debut against England in June 2006, who couldn't manage to take any wickets in his 3-over spell there. Initially, Malinga's pace was devastating for the batsman, while his well-directed bouncers and pacey yorkers were scary. However, pace was not his tool for so long, as he started to lose pace later on and adopted his bowling style into slower off-cutter deliveries. There are so many unforgettable memories of this great fast bowler, out of which the ICC World Cup match against South Africa in 2007 ranks on the top, where Malinga took 4 wickets in 4 consecutive deliveries. Despite Sri Lanka ended up as the losing side on that day, it was a thrilling moment for Malinga as well as for all Sri Lankan cricket fans. Malinga played for Mumbai Indians in the Indian Premier League and has had a glittering career in the 20-over format of the game. He holds the record for the maximum number of wickets in the IPL as of now. In 2011, he took 5 wickets, giving just 13 runs against Delhi Daredevils. Malinga also played for Melbourne Stars, and in 2012, he struck 6 wickets against the team Perth. Lasith was also the leading wicket taker in the 2011 Champions League T20 tournament and won the golden wicket for his admirable performances. Malinga is the only bowler to take 4 wickets in 4 consecutive balls in the history of cricket. He is also the only player to take 3 hat-tricks in ODI cricket. Well, injuries have taken a toll on Malinga and he's lost a number of matches because of being unfit in 2008. He was forced to take a long break to recover and come back fully. However, his absence in the squad was quite noticeable. Well, as a result of this, Malinga announced his retirement from Test cricket on the 2nd of April 2011 with the aim of maintaining his performance levels at the maximum in shorter forms of the game. And very recently, Malinga announced his retirement from ODI games and appeared for his final one-day international at the R. Premadasa Stadium against Bangladesh. The champion took 3 wickets in his farewell game, leading Sri Lanka to a convincing victory. It is quite indisputable that Lasith Malinga is a name that has brought immense glory to our nation through this game of cricket.
The great service which was delivered by this legendary fast bowler Lasith Malinga will certainly be indelible to Sri Lankan cricket. So, let's now move on to hear some positives and to watch some positives rather, which were to be taken out of the World Cup campaign and followed by the Bangladesh tour of Sri Lanka as well.
Yep, as I just mentioned before, there are quite a lot of positives to be taken out from this World Cup 2019. As such, there are so many youngsters, promising youngsters I would say, who have been performing so well during the World Cup. And also, the experienced lads have been performing up to and beyond the expectations.
Of course, and this documentary is about such positives.
One of the prominent aspects where Sri Lankans can take a lot of positives out of the last couple of tournaments was their batting unit. Despite as a team they sometimes were unable to put up a good score via a collective effort, there were some outstanding batting efforts that could be witnessed during these 2 tours. Avishka Fernando was indeed an exemplary new player who showed his talents soon after he got to play inside the playing 11. Getting to a flying start even after the departure of one or both the opening batsmen is a significant feature of him. In that sense, Avishka was managed to score 1 less than 50 in his first game, which was against England, the 49 runs which just took 39 balls. 30 of 29 against South Africa and 20 of 21 against India were also little cameos came from the youngster's bat. His best inning was in fact the first century for Sri Lanka in the World Cup 2019. The knock of 104 runs of 103 balls consisted with 9 fours and 2 sixes. As a batsman who can be called as the man in form for Sri Lanka, Kusal Janit Pereira has been setting up some real shows. Having 3 half-centuries under his name during the World Cup, Kusal, the left-handed aggressive striker, scored 78 of 81 deliveries against Afghanistan, 64 of 51 balls against Windies and 52 of 36 balls against Australia. Though was unable to convert his double figures into a triple during the World Cup in the very first ODI game against Bangladesh, Kusal Janit played an outstanding knock of 111 runs of 99 deliveries. It was pretty alarming to see the most senior batsman in Sri Lankan lineup, Angelo Matthews, gaining some momentum. His 85 of 115 against England and the centuries scored against India were well organised and disciplined sort of innings. He also had a wonderful knock of 87 runs of 90 balls in the third ODI played against Bangladesh. Mr. Captain for Sri Lanka, Dimuth Karunaratne, was also a part of the party, specifically during the World Cup. His knock of 52 of 84 and 97 of 108 were quite a brilliant couple of efforts. And after the World Cup, this was how the individual batting effort of Sri Lanka looked like.
Well, the most important thing in cricket is to identify the problems, finding solutions, and most importantly, executing on whatever the strong zones that we are having.
And the upcoming tour for Sri Lankan cricket will be the tour of New Zealand in Sri Lanka, which will consist with 2 test matches and the 3 T20Is. As you can see, these T20Is have been the targets for almost all the cricket teams in the international arena, targeting the International Cricket World Cup, the T20 International Cricket World Cup, which is to be taken place in the next year.
So, this is about the history between Sri Lanka and New Zealand cricket.
The history of cricket between Sri Lanka and New Zealand dates back to 1982, where the two teams met for the very first time with a test match series. It was a 2 test match series where the Black Caps were managed to gain a clean sweep win. Between these two nations, a total of 34 test matches has been played, out of which 15 were won by New Zealand, whereas 8 were won by Sri Lanka, leaving 11 matches drawn. Considering the history of T20Is, out of a total of 16 matches, the Black Caps have won 8, whereas Sri Lanka has won 6, with 1 drawn match and 1 match without a result. The first ever T20I played between these two teams dates back to 2006, which was played at Wellington Stadium in Westpac, where Sri Lanka accomplished a 18 runs victory through the Duckworth-Lewis method.
So, that was the history of cricket between Black Caps and Sri Lanka. As you all know, the 14th of August will be the starting point of Sri Lanka and Black Caps, the tour of Black Caps rather, in Sri Lanka, and the test series will be starting on the 14th of August in the Gore International Cricket Stadium.
Yeah, so that's all we have for the show. Hope you enjoyed every bit of this special cricket episode, Cover Drive. Until we meet again, it's goodbye.